All right, mate.
Boom, we're back. Squeeze the Neck podcast. Today I'm wrong side of the river, guys, with my new mate.
I'm Ez Francis, guys. Welcome. Nice to speak to the viewers and that.
Brilliant.
Nice to be on the podcast, Squeeze the Neck.
Well, you're being, sort of understated in the moment, but this man's a bit of a martial arts legend, we say, shall we? And we'll get into it. We'll get into all that. But before we get too much further, if I look that way, I can see Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Don't hold it against me, guys. I got dragged here by the main man. So Tottenham Community Sports Centre is where we're at, mate. We met here, a couple of months ago with Coach Kojo?
Yeah, about a few months back.
So shout out Coach Kojo and Dutch Kickboxing
Came
Workshop.
down and put on a Dutch Kickboxing Workshop. It was fantastic. Everyone enjoyed it. You know, he's got great energy.
Mm-hmm. So brilliant coach as well, and he teaches right.
Yeah. He's got a similar approach to myself. So, big up Kojo on that.
Nice, So shout out. We'll get you back on here again at some point, mate. For real. But before we get into any of that, mate, obviously we talk about modern times. We go back in time, back and forth as we do.
Sure.
Where'd you come from originally, mate, and how'd you get into martial arts?
That's the question, isn't it? I mean, I'm originally from South London. I'm living in...
my man! Whereabouts? Where are you from?
I'm from Peckham originally.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, from Peckham. Proud to say that, you know what I mean? Had a great childhood growing up. You know, I'm proud to say that I grew up during the late 70s, early 80s and that boom. So I was part of the Kung Fu boom.
Right, okay.
When I look back on it, you know what I mean? Everyone was Kung Fu fighting, late 70s.
Is this in the times where you'd go and get a VHS tape and you'd learn everything from that?
Yeah. Well, actually, a funny story. I mean, my dad probably brought a VHS recorder into the house, probably 1980. And I actually vividly remember the first film was E.T.
I used to watch that one as well.
E.T., you know what I mean? And it was like such a new experience because you've had, it was this big film, but you could be able to watch it in your house. You didn't have to go to cinema. So, VHS is like the best thing.
Mate, I'll tell you what, some people watching this are probably too young to even know what a DVD is. So when you talk about VHS, they're looking at us like we've got 3 heads. But they were a thing once, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, home video system, basically. You know what I mean? You could go and rent films that were on the movies and you can watch them at home. That was the big selling point. And, fortunately, my dad was a martial arts fan. You know, his parents are from Jamaica, so he was a big Bruce Lee fan.
Right.
Growing up in that, martial arts resonates with the black community all around the world, you know what I mean? But that's another thing. But yeah, he was a big Bruce Lee fan. So, with VHS and that and going to the video shop, we used to go with him. Then we were old enough, he said, yeah, you can go down and pick out a couple of films. Just make sure you get a Kung Fu film for me.
Right, is that what it was? Yeah.
It was like that, so he loved martial arts, he loved Kung Fu films. So I felt like I'd seen every Kung Fu film that was made, you know what I mean? It was like every week, and to rent like tapes back then, it was like 50p.
Oh, was it? Yeah, is that if you keep it an extra day, you have to pay more.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, we went through everything, and Jackie Chan, of course, was really popular in the 80s because he came with Kung Fu comedy.
Right. Was he popular in the 80s, or was Bruce Lee still king?
I mean, Bruce Lee was like the master.
Right.
He was always seen as the master. And we weren't actually allowed to watch Bruce Lee films because it was, deemed as too violent back then.
Is that right? Yeah, okay.
So you just had posters.
Right, the famous ones with the scratches on his chest and all that, right?
So as a kid, you'd be like, oh wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Oh, one day when I'm old enough, I'm going to watch Enter the Dragon.
Well, I tell you what, I can really relate to going to the video shop with my dad. That's what I used to do and stuff. But even though it was way before my time, I used to watch Rocky. Rocky was my one.
Oh, yeah,
so
Rocky.
Rocky was because I think my experience with Bruce Lee, I had older cousins, and they were sort of 7, 8 years older than me, and they was big into the Bruce Lee. Right. But it was a bit when they're sort of talking to each other, and you're like the little kid left out, so it was a bit boring for me. So I never really got into Bruce Lee young, but I can totally relate to going to the video shop.
Bruce Lee was a superstar, no doubt, right? And when you think of, there's no such thing as a Kung Fu film. There was no genre until Enter the Dragon, really, and that kind of set it off. Because the West wanted to see more. Right. But of course, Bruce Lee died quite young. He only made 4 films. So he was gone by 1973, unfortunately. And then there was a gap. I guess this is where you had the birth of kickboxing. Right. Or PKA, American kickboxing.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, is the wearing PKA trousers above the waist kicking.
Yeah, known as old school kickboxing. I like to refer to it as American style kickboxing because it really came out of fighting on the mats. Right. Really. I guess Bruce Lee died in 1973, and then you had the Professional Karate Association, which had their first tournament, I believe, was 1974. So, there was a lot going on during that time. But Bruce Lee, he brought something different. So America wanted more. People wanted more.
That's cool. And you going back a step, you said your dad was a martial arts fan. Was he a martial artist himself?
No, he boxed a bit. You know, my mum dabbled. She laughed at me. My mum dabbled a little bit, you know what I mean? But growing up in the household, it was all about boxing or kung fu, because Muhammad Ali was, of course, was the man.
Right.
And then, you know, getting older during the 80s, it was the, you know, the four greats: Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Thomas Hearns, and
Hagler.
Hagler, of course, you know.
The best of all of them, in my opinion.
I mean, they provided such excitement during the 80s.
Who was the best out of the four? Who's your favourite?
I mean, my favourite is Sugar Ray.
Right.
But my favourite of all time is Sugar Ray Robinson.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
And,
the original Sugar Ray.
The original Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, just the greatest two-fisted fighter I've ever seen.
Really?
Footwork, he had everything.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, Muhammad Ali was a copy of that, and then you had Sugar Ray, of course, was a copy of that.
Yeah.
But they had their own style at the same time.
Yeah.
Like Sugar Ray Leonard was wow. You go back and look at his highlight video.
Yeah.
Speed, power,
Serious.
technique, movement, he had everything.
Well, I think people forget because he had big gaps in his career, didn't he? Like he stopped
Yeah, I mean, he had the eye damage,
Right.
which caused him to retire and take time out, and then he came back and he fought Hagler, if my memory is still correct.
That's right, yeah, that's right.
And then he fought Hagler, which a lot of people think he lost, but I think he won that fight.
Yeah, I think he lost. I'm a big Hagler fan. I'm a massive Hagler fan.
Yeah, I mean,
love
Hagler was the man, of course, right? But man, they all were.
They all were.
You know what I mean?
Them four were special. You
Them
know,
four
like
were special.
Duran. I'm a big fan of Duran as well.
Duran, Hands of Stone.
Come on, son.
Right,
Come on.
So, yeah, and then of course we had our own greats. We had Nigel Benn.
We did, yeah, we did.
Do
you know what? It's actually I had the pleasure of doing a workshop with Nigel Benn last year. This year, actually, it was this year.
Yeah.
He said at the time he was just before he turned 62. It was in the build-up to the Eubank Ben Jr. fight, which we can talk about at some point.
Yeah.
But he was there, on the pads with him and stuff. Mate, he's still strong as a ball now. He don't look a day over 40, and he's still
It's
like, do you know what I mean?
inspiring,
It is proper because
I follow Nigel anyway, so I see the shape he's in.
Yep.
You know, Sugar Ray Leonard, I saw him on the pads the other day as
Yeah.
well. I thought these great fighters, it's inspiring that they're still going.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Thank God they're all still healthy enough to be able to
yeah.
continue to do that.
Right.
I know Hearns is going through his thing at the moment, so, you know, I wish
He's not doing too well, Hearns, at the moment, right?
Look, everyone's getting older,
Right.
right? And it's podcasts like this, really, I think is great because you get a chance to talk about the past, you know, the great fighters of the past. If we don't talk about it,
Mate, I could sit here with you all day. We could sit here till it gets dark outside and talk.
I encourage the instructors out there to,
Yeah.
to talk to your students about the history of it. Else it's gone.
Yeah.
You've got to pass this knowledge on.
Especially in this day and age, because we're older. We're at a point now where videos and stuff have been around long enough for us to see fighters that sort of died before we was even around, right? So it goes back, and especially sort of probably 60s onwards. It's clear. You can see it properly, can't you? You can really watch their careers.
You know, thankfully with YouTube, you can go back and people have uploaded a lot of stuff. I've still got a lot of fights on VHS.
Have you? Yeah. You better update them, man. We get them on like
a... just, you know, I've got old fights from taped from TV, like Screen Sport and all of that.
And who was your favourite like boxers and stuff when you was growing up? Was there particular names? I know you said the Fantastic
Four. There's too many, really.
Right.
But, I mean, you had the four greats, but then, you know, of course, that's too many. You could go from Duke McKenzie, you can go right up. You know, not all fighters I thought were great, but they were exciting fighters.
Right.
You know, I remember, you know, even former kickboxer, Matt Skelton.
Yeah,
of course, wasn't the best, but
Matt,
exciting fights.
Yeah. And very underrated, because he did end up fighting for a world title, I think, didn't he, in Germany at the end of his career. He fought for like a version of it. I think it was like a WBA regular or something like that. He fought. But at this point, I believe, if I'm wrong, someone correct me, but I think he was about 46 already, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he'd done his time in K1, so, you know, it was quite nice to see him in the ring and whatnot. But again, you know, it was an exciting time in British boxing.
Well, there's a lot that go through it. Like, he's fighting tonight. Obviously, it won't be tonight when this comes out. But Dylan White was a kickboxer, wasn't he, before?
Well.
And like, I've had a big Daniel Sam on here. I don't know if you know Daniel Sam is.
Yeah, of course.
Shout out Daniel Sam, great fella.
Daniel
he fought Dylan White as a kickboxer.
He used to train here as well.
Did he? Yeah.
Tottenham Community Sports.
Right. Of course, Ilford is this kind of like.
He used to train with Vinny down there. He was based, and then went on to, you know, bigger, better things. You know, moved
Good
to
on
Amsterdam and whatnot.
Did he? Yeah.
And trained with Mike's gym out there. So Daniel's done really well. Was representing the UK out with K1 and Glory, I should say. And you know, like I say, it takes you back to the history of the UK. You know what I mean? Not only my own club, but you know, I initially started with a chap called Andy Mayo.
Okay.
So
who is that? That name rings a bell.
Andy Mayo was a European Muay Thai champion.
Right. Okay. What does he look like?
Really nice guy.
Is this a really tall fella? I might have met him once.
I mean,
no.
you know, I met him
Maybe
when
I'm
I
getting
was
mixed
like
up.
13.
Okay. Right.
and he was champion at the time. And him and his brother Phil Mayer used to run an organisation called the CKO, Contact Karate Organisation. So at 13, 14, they brought me in, made me feel welcome, and influenced me a lot, really. You know what I mean? And because Phil used to give me videotapes. And of course, he gave me the golden one, which is Ronnie Green. You know, I don't know if you know Ronnie Green, but Ronnie Green was the first Muay Thai world champion this country produced.
Right.
They say he won 5 world titles at 5 different weights, but I think it's probably more than that, really.
Wow.
This time.
Is that right? Yeah.
That's my ask. I can't remember. But you can, YouTube Ronnie Green. He was the UK's finest. And he was
still around?
One. Yeah. He was recently here.
Right. Okay. Brilliant.
I'm glad to say that me and Claire, we're friends with Ronnie. We met him a few years back, and I actually started my organisation with Ronnie as well. So me, Claire, and Ronnie started martial weight training. So we spent a bit of time in London. We were working with schools, and just delivering that empowering workshop. You know what I mean, based on martial arts and what we got out of martial arts. So it was really great working with Ronnie. So he stood up in Manchester.
Is he?
Shout
okay.
out to Ronnie, yeah.
Shout out to the Manchester Massive. I've been up there a few times with the podcast, so yeah.
Again, he talked about the history, he talked about Manchester, he talked about Birmingham, he talked about the 3 Time Masters. So you got Master Sken, Master Toddy, Master Woody.
Okay, and these are English people that have brought Muay
Thai.
Thai.
They came from Thailand and brought Thai boxing into this country, really.
Right.
So you had the Thai boxing angle. I think they came over around about 1979. And then you had the American kickboxing angle.
Right, okay.
So you had kickboxing sort of developing on those 2 planes. In the UK, you had Magendo, you had Laogai Kung Fu. They were dominating the mat scene.
Laogai was one when I was a kid. I never did it, but when I was a kid, that was one you'd hear people doing. He does Laogai Kung Fu. That was a popular thing, wasn't it?
Really popular, and they had a good team of fighters that were, they were taking over the mats at one stage.
Right.
So, but they transitioned to the ring, started kickboxing. So everyone started kickboxing in the 80s.
Right, okay.
So we got in the ring, and it was an exciting time because you mix styles. Magendo against Laogai, Muay Thai against Kung Fu.
Right.
So it was all new. It was exciting. So yeah, big up to them. Anyone that's connected to Magendo and Laogai crew. I mean, our own chief instructor Eddie was a Laogai practitioner as well.
Right,
so he came from Laogai Kung Fu.
Was people open-minded back then? Because nowadays, obviously, you've got things like MMA, right? So people kind of trade skills might not be the right way to say it, but you get where I'm coming from, right? Everyone kind of, if someone knows something you don't, the culture nowadays is a little bit like, show me that. Whereas back in the day, from what I've heard, people are a bit more like, no, that don't work because it's not what I do. What was it like?
I mean, Bruce Lee influenced a lot of people. He influenced martial arts big time. So everyone had an open mind with their approach. And with Muay Thai was a new sport. Show me age, but at the time it seemed like it was a new sport. I'd never heard of Thailand. That was Siam,
is that right? Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Siam,
from the King of Nine. So Thailand, where's that?
Right, oh, it's like that.
And then you started to see combat magazines with Master Toddy in a position like that, and you think, okay, what's that?
Yeah.
It looked like boxing.
Well, it's funny you say that because I've spoken to a few people that have been to Thailand I might be off on the time frame, but sort of in the 90s on it, that when the first time they went to Thailand for training and how different it is to today. But most of them say, and I don't know what your experience is, but like a lot of them say, like you'd go there, people didn't speak English, it was very it was still Thailand, proper Thailand, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but it's the land of smiles. So everyone I've spoken to said, you know what, they made me feel welcome.
Yeah.
There's a language barrier.
Great people,
like, hey.
Yeah.
And then, hey, there's all that sort of approach. So it's not this tough man attitude, you know what I mean?
No.
But yeah, that was the sort of going back to the 3 Thai Masters. So they were teaching Thai boxing. They produced so many good fighters. Ronnie Green. You had the females up there from Master Toddy's camp, like Ann Quindon, Lisa Howarth.
Right,
okay. You know Lisa
Yeah,
Howarth.
the name I wouldn't know who they are properly, but the
Lisa
name rings a
Howarth
bell.
was one of my biggest influences actually. The first time I went to Manchester, I saw her fight.
Right. Okay.
And her daughter now is a champion of the PFL.
Oh, okay.
Dakota Ditchiva.
I know the daughter. That's her daughter. Okay, cool.
So
yeah, I know exactly what
if
you're talking about.
Mum, you'll see
that's the mum.
Yeah,
So the
Lisa
mum's
was a
bad
badass
too.
as
Right.
well.
Okay. Yeah.
This was a badass. Ann Quindon again. She was. I don't know what Ann's up to, but she was a little firecracker, mate.
Really? Yeah.
But the whole of that Toddy gym, Master Sken as well. Shout out to Master Sken. Love you guy as well. Met him a few times, and he welcomed me into his gym in Manchester. And his wife Kay, so big up to them as well.
And back then as well, like people getting into Muay Thai, especially other things also, but especially a sport like Muay Thai, how hard it is. You really got to love it because there's no money in it right back then.
It was the love of the sport. It was something new, and it was effective.
Right.
So people wanted something that worked in the streets. You know what I mean? So when they came with elbows and knees to the head, and it was all with finesse, it was like, you had this funny music playing, you know what I mean? Where it was all this stuff. It was just, There's a live band at ringside.
Did they bring that over straight away when
No,
Muay
but
Thai
you
came
had the
here?
music, but you'd see images, you'd see the band.
Yeah.
You think, what's going on here?
Right.
It was so different to boxing.
Yeah.
Even my brothers, I tried to get them into it. They were like, what's all this? What's all this funny music, man? What's that? They didn't get it.
was you a boxing family? Was your brothers into boxing?
Yeah. My brother was a boxer, and my younger brother boxed as well. They were very good, but we didn't pursue it. We just boxed amateurly for fun.
Yep.
I was never really good with my hands, but I just liked kicking people, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? I found out I was good at kicking people in the head. So I was fast.
Yeah,
you know
I got you.
So I enjoyed the kicking side of it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when kickboxing came along, it was like boxing and kung fu or martial arts
Put together, right?
was my dream.
Yeah.
I was like, Dad, I want to kickbox. I want to do Muay Thai or whatever. He was like, yeah, whatever. He didn't know what it was.
Right.
And then, you know, I used to be overweight as a child. I started training with Andy. They used to take us on a 3.5 mile run. And then we'd begin the session.
Right.
So as a kid, I just remember I stopped so many, but I started to notice that I like to lose weight.
And how old are you at this time when you're doing your 3.5
like
mile?
13.
So for a 13-year-old boy doing a 3.5 mile run, might as well be a marathon, isn't it? You're like, Jesus Christ,
my word.
what am I doing?
But he'd be like, don't worry, if you stop, you just start again. It was that, you know
Right,
what I mean?
okay, that's good.
So
That's
he gave
good
me the
attitude.
mindset.
Yeah.
So as I started to enjoy it, I started to notice the way, I started to get stronger, I started to see the skill come through, I started to get excited. I thought, yeah, I want this.
And you wanted to be a fighter straight away, I'm assuming?
No, that's what I was just about to say. I never had dreams of being a fighter. I was overweight as a kid. I just wanted to lose weight
It's interesting.
and be popular.
Right, of course, yeah, all
Get our
kids do.
attention, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
You know.
All been there, haven't we?
You know
I'm
what I mean?
still
13,
trying.
14, you know what I mean? You're growing up a bit, you want the girls to look at you.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because it's a funny age anyway, right? 12, whatever, 12,
going through that
13. You're a bit
transition.
awkward anyway, aren't you?
That's
So,
what I'm saying.
like, if you're a
You
bit
just find
overweight
yourself.
and whatever, it's a
Just
hard
find
time.
yourself.
Yeah.
So he gave me an identity.
Right.
I thought, right, okay, I'm going to stick with martial arts.
And where did you start? Where was this?
So, like I said, I grew up in South, and Andy's gym was in Woolwich.
Okay.
It was in Woolwich, in a gym basement called Taylor's Gym. Funny enough, coming out of that gym was Julius Francis as well.
Okay.
His friend John was a taekwondo expert. Just a lovely guy. God rest his soul, is no longer with us. But Julius Francis, again, a lovely guy. I was a kid, and they just welcomed me and they looked after me. You know what I mean? But I remember Julius was nice with his hands and his legs.
Was he? Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't know, Julius Francis, obviously British champion, went on to fight Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
so look up Julius Francis.
Yeah,
he
no
also
doubt.
had a spat a few years ago, didn't he? When he was working as a
Yeah, I
doorman,
saw that.
someone got a bit out of hand, and he sort of, I mean, I was going to say punched him, but he kind of swatted him, didn't he? Like, have one of them,
but
boy.
Look, trained fighters, man.
Of course,
And
yeah.
all fighters out there, you've got to be aware that you're licensed, you know what I mean? And, you know, you can't just get angry and just lash out.
No.
You've got to have that element of control.
But he wasn't in the wrong there, was he? That guy
I don't
deserved
think
it.
he
That
was
guy
in the wrong.
deserved it. You can't, you know.
Sometimes, I'm not justifying anything, sometimes people don't listen.
That's it. Yep. And he's walking towards him in a threatening way. What's he supposed to do?
You're protecting your space, really,
You're entering
right?
the space, yeah. He's entered the space.
Okay, you
didn't
could have
he?
gone like that and this, that, the other, but look, who knows?
Yeah.
And sometimes you react on the moment.
Yeah.
You hope that your reaction is going to be the best choice.
And also from like, obviously we haven't seen, the tape only shows the last little bit, doesn't it? Whereas like, from what people are saying, this was
Imagine
going
the
on
build-up,
and
though.
on and on for ages
That was
beforehand.
obviously on one.
Yep.
He wanted trouble.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
He got it.
That's where his friend should have stepped in and
Yep.
said, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of, I mean, people just live bait anyway, right? You know what I mean?
it.
Everybody wants to be a big man.
Yeah. Yeah. Until Julius Francis comes out and lets you know
but
what time it
it's
is.
the wrong message. It's the wrong message. Look, I said it's all tough,
Yeah.
acting tough.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But for
it
what
is.
gain? All right,
Yeah.
you're the best fighter in the world. Who really cares? Unless you're kind to people.
Yeah,
if
that's
you're
it.
real, then
That's
people
it.
will get. Look, Mitchell Smith came down
Okay.
recently, right, to visit Mark Prince. That's here as well, delivering his program. And he was talking to the kids, telling his story, you know, because unfortunately he got into a situation, had to defend himself and whatnot. You know what I mean? But again, being a champion. Right, we know it's Mitchell Smith, you know what I mean? Right, and he ended up doing bad for it.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the lesson in it, right? So you sometimes we react as fighters. You're trained to fight. So you have to have that spirit with it as well.
Yeah.
It's very, very important, especially if you're teaching kids. Because at the end of the day, we've got to try and make the world a better place.
Right.
Right?
You're
You're
right.
using strength to make
Right.
the world a better place. So what's the point?
Yeah, what is the point? I was just going to say that was
Right?
exactly what came to mind
That's
when you
why
said it.
Muhammad
What's the
Ali
point?
is still loved.
Yeah.
Because he went around the world, he cared about people.
More than his boxing career, wasn't it? He's
Well,
more
he
than
wasn't the
boxing.
greatest fighter, I don't think.
No, I agree with you.
And that's
I
no
agree.
disrespect,
No.
you know what I mean?
There was better fighters, but he was more than what he was because of what he was
Saying
outside.
This guy his spirit was huge.
Yeah.
and he shared it with the world.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what people need.
It is, yeah. It is.
So that's what martial arts for me is. What it's about, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you're
absolutely,
teaching kids as well, what are we teaching them then?
Yeah.
To be violent. I don't do that.
No, well, it's interesting what you said about kids as well, because I've had this conversation on here many a time with different people, and I think sometimes kids can be overcoached. You know, when like a kid comes in, we've all met kids that are just got it. They're just talented, right? And like sometimes people overcoach them, and it's like, hey, leave him the fuck alone, man. Let him go over there and do his thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, in Thailand, it's a cultural thing,
right?
They've been doing it for 2,000 years, whatever. It's their culture. And even in Thailand, right, you've got an element that don't want it to happen, like kids fighting.
Right.
We have competitive competitions, but we highlight skill rather than impact.
Yeah.
Because we don't want anyone to get hurt. So you've got to practice fighting safely, if that makes sense.
For sure.
So we highlight skill. It takes more skill for me to throw a jumping spin and a hook kick and stop it right here.
Yeah.
Than to let it go full power.
Yeah.
It's a high level of skill.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they don't want to go through the traditional arts and that. You just want to go straight into the ring, bang, 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 make you feel good and all of that. But I'm not saying that ain't skillful, but I'm saying the high level of skill is being able to do all of that and control it.
Yeah, because when that restriction's out, it makes everything a lot easier, right?
So, but what are you aiming for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know what I mean, though?
Yeah, because it's interesting. Like, I certainly don't want to see kids getting knocked out. You know, like a young boy getting kicked in the head and put to sleep. That, to me, that ain't.
It could be life and death.
Of course. I'm not into that at all. Well, I don't know if you know a fella called Joe Turner, who's a Muay Thai. I think he's European champion. Joe, if I'm butchering it, mate, you reach out and put me in my place. But he said like he'd been doing it from very young. He's still young now, but like he's a young man now, right? Whereas he was doing it from a kid, blah blah blah. But he said like a lot of the competitions he was doing were like restricted in terms of where you could hit, I believe. So in terms you couldn't punch to the face, you could punch to the body, kick, full blast, etc. And he was really big on like how that helped him develop. And it makes sense, doesn't it? I think it's about that's how it should be.
When you get to 18, you're an adult. You can make those decisions. If you choose to be a professional, then you've made that choice consciously. You've trained for it. You understand that there's risks, right? We've got professional fighting happening tonight. They understand, both sides understand that there's risks involved. But you know what? I've trained for it and this is what I want to do. So as an adult, the law says, yeah, you can do that. When you're dealing with underage, adults need to make those decisions.
Yeah. Right, I think, I agree with it, And also, we've all seen that as well on the other side, is like pushy parents, where, you know, when the kid's kind of not that into it, they kind of like coming down here on a Tuesday, but that's kind of the extent of it. But the parents, boom, 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 it's like, oof.
If you're looking at Instagram and all of that, bang, 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 you see all that? People showing their best.
Right.
But, you know, you got to understand what you're looking at.
Yeah, right.
So I'm looking at Instagram, but I know what I'm looking at. Is it honest all the time?
No, because it's like you said, that's the best of it, isn't it?
But you take the positives from what you're looking at.
Yeah, he can do that, but at the same time, listen, how many times have we all been going through a technique on the pads and go, no, do it again, do it again.
There's a lot of talent.
That's
so
the game.
Much talent in the world.
Yeah.
You go on Instagram, there's so much talent, whether it's martial arts or whatever. People do some amazing stuff. When I was younger, for someone to jump in the air and spin 3 times and land a kick was impossible.
Really, that was.
You're seeing it in Taekwondo, you're seeing 540s and 720s, mate.
Right.
When I was young, a spinning back kick was flash. Wow, he spun.
Is that right?
Wow.
He spun.
He's on a Bruce Lee kick.
Yeah, right.
So the standard is, you know what I mean?
But we grow on past generations too, don't we? Like if I've seen you before me for 10 years, like I've got that as well, haven't I? Do you know what I mean? I know what your mistakes and etc. But like with kids today, when I say overcoaching, I think sometimes, like we've all seen kids, like you said about a spin, for example. Some kids can just do things better than others, right? And I feel like sometimes people get in the way of that by over sort of like, do it this way, do it that way. And there's elements of that, like, of course, you defend yourself at all times, all the things we say, but at the same time, sometimes, coach, let that kid do his thing.
We'll have to give them room to express themselves.
That's what I believe,
It's personal expression at the end of the day.
Yep.
So you can okay, jab like this, right? Because ultimately, the way they throw it is down to them. If it works, it works. There's no right or wrong.
Right.
It's effective and not effective.
Yes. Very
interesting. Like Bruce said, you know, you drill something. If it works, then it becomes part of you. If it doesn't work, you throw it out and you move on. You know what I mean?
It's an interesting thing with Bruce Lee as well, because a lot of people now, going back to the Instagram generation, a lot of people want to knock him and say, oh, he wasn't a real fighter and all that kind of stuff. Drives me mad, this stuff, because what he did was not about that to me. Like, and you was obviously, you're a generation before me, so you'll have more sort of knowledge on it. But for me, like his principles and his philosophies of how to train and how to get his point across is what makes him so great to me.
The whole point, bro.
That's what I think. Yeah.
You know, Bruce spoke about life. You got to remember, he's a product of that period in America.
Right.
right? Oakland, California. So you had the Black Panthers coming out of Oakland. There was a lot of turmoil in America during that period. A lot of racism that was going on, Hollywood doing their thing and blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows Bruce's story, right? The TV series Kung Fu ended up going to David Carradine that he wrote, blah, 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 right? So that period so he was a product of that period.
Right.
So it wasn't about fighting. Fighting, who cares if you're the best fighter in the world? It's about people. So he used martial arts to reach people and he used cinema to express himself.
Yeah.
So he can be seen. You got a little Chinese guy in America. How am I going to get seen? How am I going to get noticed?
All right.
I've got a big heart. I want people to see me. I'm just like you. And you thought, how am I going to... martial arts. You know what? I'm going to use my martial arts. Might just bring back a little Wing Chun. Start teaching in that.
Yeah.
Right? Linda supported him and whatnot.
Yeah,
the rest is history.
Right. And from that, like, as you said, he was like unique to his time, right? There was no one like him beforehand, obviously, right? And I think that goes through with a lot of people. You could relate it to.
So
but he was
at the same time, Ollie, right? He was influenced.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I was going to get to. Yeah. Where did he get it from?
Look, we all regurgitate.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I've read something, I've read The Tale of Jeet Kune Do.
Right.
A lot of the stuff I say was in Bruce Lee's book.
Right.
I'm not inventing, but I'm sharing knowledge.
You're just highlighting it, yeah.
Yeah. You might put your little spin on it, but you're sharing knowledge.
Right.
But there's nothing new under the sun, mate.
No, there's not. No.
You go back to look. People follow Zen Buddhism.
Yeah.
The art of war, Zen. You know what I mean? So these principles are old.
Well, Muhammad Ali spoke about it as well, when people say about Muhammad Ali was the original. Muhammad Ali was, he said himself he followed a fella called Gorgeous George, I believe, a wrestler.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Created his persona.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. We're all influenced. It's okay to be influenced.
You should be influenced, right? You have to be.
Copying someone is different.
Yeah, but influence and copying is different things, isn't they?
You should be influenced by positive things. You're encouraging people to be influenced.
And you should take it with you. For me, like if I work out with you today, you put me through a session here, what am I going to do? Forget it? No, I should take what I want from it and I should pass that on.
A little bit of me with you.
Right, that's what I'm getting at.
You know, our interaction, it's a human interaction.
Yeah.
So we're discussing martial arts, we're going through moves and whatnot, but it's really about me and you.
Yeah.
It's our minds and our hearts communicating there. How you express it physically is down to you.
Right.
But you might, I say something, you throw it back at me, I bounce back and boom, 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 boom. We're narrowing down now. So it's a daily decrease, as you said, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a sculptor now, you're not piling on clay.
Yeah.
You start with a lump and you chip away, and then, you know what I mean?
I like
so
that.
you chip away, again, that's Bruce's.
I like
thing.
that.
But
I
you know
like
what I mean?
that.
See, that's something that stuck with me.
Yeah.
But it's a chipping away process. But then life is like that.
But also, it's like you're saying, it's a human interaction. It's like we both get something from it. Do you know what I mean? I believe in that. And also, you know, like for example, let's just say I'm your student. You've taught me for 10 years, whatever. I view it as, and it'd be interesting to see your view on this, I never really pay you back for that. I pass it on is how I pay you back.
Of course.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's the legacy.
Right.
What kind of legacy do we want?
Right.
It's how we live now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So as an adult, you've got to try and make a conscious choice. Like, okay, how do I want to live? What kind of person do I want to be? Bearing in mind that you can't control the external. So I can try and control my responses, but what kind of person do I want to be? When we talk to our young students, we're like, what kind of person? We want to get them thinking. It's a rhetorical question. You can choose. You know, it's like the way we use words. Words can build or they can destroy.
Especially kids, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? We've got to be careful how we use words with each other.
Yeah, because intent's big, innit? Like, you could say something meaning a different thing, but if you're 12, you might take that wrong.
You're coaching a kid, you say, what's wrong with you? You're never going to get it.
Yeah.
Look, each their own. I'm not criticising any approach to it, right? Because each instructor, I'm not saying they don't care. But it's approach, right?
But it's intent as
but
well,
every child is different as well. So
They are.
you might have a child that responds to getting slapped up the head and that hard thing. You get one child that will crumble and cry.
Yeah, right.
So each child is different, you know? When me and Claire teach, we teach with love. So every child that comes in, you know, you're getting that honest attention from us. So what it's like our child. You've got parents that are trusting us with their children.
Yeah.
That's massive.
It is massive, yeah. Because
I'm doing combat.
Right, exactly. You could kick them in the face when the parent's not here and like do what you want, couldn't you?
So we appreciate all the parents out there that bring their students. We appreciate that they've trusted us enough with their child.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. I've not seen you teach per se. I've seen you do bits and pieces during coaching thing.
Yeah.
But these are your students that were here, right? A lot of kids that was here that day.
Yeah,
so when I'm here, you can see that they've been taught when I say taught well, I mean in terms of like the manners, the personality, because like this is fairly rough area, right? You don't know, like some of these kids, you know, this is not like privileged kids that should be nice necessarily.
It's Tottenham.
Right. So you come in here, but these kids were all very respectful, and they was all very like, they looked, because I'm obviously older than these kids, like they looked at me as like an instructor, even though I'm not, I'm just in the class with them, but they've got respect, and like that comes from somewhere, doesn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? So,
sir, yeah, they've never met you before.
Right.
It's about respecting your elders, isn't it?
That's what I'm getting at, yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm getting at.
Look, in the black community, the church played a major part, right? Pentecostal church and all that. But you had certain core values that were hammered on, right? You go around someone's house, you take off your shoes and all of that, you know, and you're pleasing your thank yous and all that. It's the same thing we keep going. We just do it under martial arts, man.
Yep. And I think it's important to keep...
like courtesy and integrity, right? And then to persevere, self-control, having a spirit that's indomitable, then how are you going to get through life?
But it's important to keep, I think, because in this day and age, I think certain schools that you go to, sometimes that kind of gets watered down a bit. And I think it's important, it should stay, it has to stay.
You know what I mean? Like I say, you know, for me, and I know I can speak for Claire on saying this, right? For us, everything we do reflects on us.
Right.
So how we treat that student, that child, reflects on us ultimately. So we're conscious of that while we're teaching, right? I don't mean that no one's perfect. We all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I come in tired sometimes. Sometimes it might be like rare, blah, blah, blah. But we teach from the heart, right? And that's what we're trying to pass on to kids. Whatever you do, you know, go out there and get strong, right? And also you can help the world, right? Be a better place. You're not going to be old one day.
Right.
Look, I was 13 once.
Yeah. I was 13 yesterday, as far as it feels. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying, Ollie, right? So it don't last forever.
Yeah, no.
Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah, it's true.
So we've got to bring it back to look, the people that influenced me in martial arts, you've got people like Benny Ukides, right?
The Jet, Benny the Jet.
Benny the Jet, right, in America. Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham.
Sugarfoot,
I mentioned Ronnie Green already. Bill Wallace.
Superfoot Wallace, isn't it?
Superfoot Wallace. I met him as well when he was about 75. Lovely guy as well, just always joking. Joe Lewis, before he died, I met Joe Lewis, you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah, shit, that's a big one.
Yeah, his hands were so big.
Yeah.
His fist.
Was it? Yeah.
The size of his fist.
Yeah.
Look, I kept looking. It was like a hammer fist.
Yeah.
One thing about Joe was, you know, all right, Ez.
Yeah. Whoa, yeah, easy now.
He had a man's hand, mate.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
But again, lovely guy. I had a chance to talk to him a little bit about Bruce, training with Bruce and whatnot. You know what I mean? Because he trained with Bruce.
Did he? That's mad, that, isn't it?
Joe Lewis, man.
Didn't know that.
Even meeting Cynthia Rothrock. I don't know if you know Cynthia Rothrock. She's an actress, but you know, again, watching her since I'm like 10, 11 years old, that was a bit weird. But she was, hey. But you know what I mean? Those guys. The point I'm making is them guys always really spoke about the positive. You know what I mean? Even before a fight, you know, they would say, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to hit him with this, I'm going to do my best, blah, blah, blah. But he's a really nice guy. I think he's really skillful. But you know what? This is my fight. Okay. Boxing used to be like that. Ali used to trash talk, but it wouldn't, you know what Ali's trash talk. It was playful trash talk.
Playful. Henry Cooper spoke about that, didn't he?
I'm going to do this and all that, but everyone knew what Ali was, right? So again, remember, it's life and death. So it's just how the culture's changed. We're encouraging all of that.
Yeah, it's not for me, all that. Trash talk's not for me.
Anything can happen in the ring, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not in for the trash talk. Not for me. Not for me. I don't like that stuff. It's not for me.
Look, Nigel, you talked to Nigel Benn about that. You talked to Chris Eubanks about that. That's why I respect those two, because they went through trauma.
Yeah.
And came out the other side, you know what I mean? And showed real spirit.
Yeah.
Like
Big
those
time.
Two, listen, and Michael Watson. Yeah,
Michael Watson as well, especially, yeah.
This is a serious business.
Yeah. Gerald McClellan, who was kind of,
right.
You know what I mean?
So again, what we're talking about, you understand me?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So to give it value, it's got to be more than just the fighting.
Yeah, because I think people that haven't stepped in there, this ain't a game, do you know what I mean? Like, we all know people, whether it's like on TV, Gerald McClellan's, your Michael Watsons, or up close. Not to that severity, but I know people that ain't like they used to be. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm sure you do too. You know, people that you knew when they were young and spoke,
people that
you know.
spar too hard.
And now you speak to them and they're, and you go, whoa, fuck, I knew you before you were like that. Do you know what I mean?
They're not young anymore.
No, right.
Right, 18, 19, you're a tough man. Bang, 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 yeah, I'm tough and all that. Okay,
bulletproof,
let's see how long that lasts.
That's it. Runs out, doesn't it? It runs out eventually.
You know, I've got to mention the Dutch kickboxers as well. Major influence. Rob Kamen, no longer here with us. Milo El-Gerbli, Andre Bruderman. You can look these people up, right? Down to Raymond Deckers, right?
Yeah. No longer with us, yeah.
Lucien Carbon, right? These guys were phenomenal, man. They were just killers in the ring, and it was such a the Dutch style. I kind of watched it evolve as well. You know what I mean? And the early Dutch fighters they were so tough. The Dutch were the ones to beat. If you were at British level, kickboxing and Muay Thai and that, you had to go to Holland.
Right, that was what it was, yeah.
It was a testing ground.
Right.
If you can't compete in Holland, you ain't going to Thailand.
Better flight to Holland as well than Thailand, isn't it?
Right, but look, it was Holland, Thailand and Japan, right?
Japan as well, was it?
The Japanese
right.
kickboxers.
Right, okay, yeah, well, yeah.
See, that's another bit of the history that ain't, you know what I mean?
Well, Japan, what people don't know, and you'll know this one, is that I believe it was the 60s, Masayama sent over 3 Kyokushin karate guys to Lumpini Stadium.
That's right.
3 of them against Thai, 2 of them won. So the level was obviously extreme.
A famous story. But look, they mixed the elements of karate and Muay Thai.
And I believe they wore the gi as well, one of them. At least one of them was in the gi, wearing in Lumpini Stadium.
So probably, I mean, there was a guy, Toshio Fujiwara, really popularised it, you know what I mean? And I think he was the first Japanese fighter to win a Lumpini title.
Right, okay.
I mean, look, I haven't checked these facts, but I'm just going from memory.
Right.
Well, Toshio was I just remember his calves. What? These guys, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, you got and of course, Benny Yakides went over to Japan, and then he became famous in Japan.
Right.
And then you had the birth of the WKA, World Karate Association, which introduced low kicks. So you had kickboxing with the trousers, but now I can kick low and kick high. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
which is a game changer for anyone who's never been.
You had more involvement coming from the UK and Europe, because we were doing Thai boxing over
there.
So over here in Europe, we used to low kicks.
Well, Thai boxing's always been here in my lifetime.
Well,
do you know
what
I mean?
Since 1979.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Like with the 3 Thai masters, and then it kind of spread from there.
Right.
Whereas in London, you had more of the American kickboxing route.
Right, okay. Was it that far back? 1979 was when it came here?
I think that's when they first touched down.
Yeah.
And then by the 80s, you started to see them in the magazines, Combat Fighters magazine. And remember, there's no internet and all of that.
No,
so unless someone gave you a video, you would never see it.
Yeah.
So I used to see pictures of Ronnie and all that, and read Ronnie Green's won again. This guy kept winning. I think it's the only guy in Britain that keeps winning internationally. He must be really good.
Right.
Like, what is it with this guy? And then when I saw him fight for the first time, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
I get it now, yeah.
It's just his movement and his footwork, and he seemed to block and counter everything.
Yeah. Well, that's from my experience of being around Thai boxing.
That's why he's on the wall over there.
That's why he's on the wall over there with his knee up. But like from my experience, like when you watch boxing, for example, at a high level, so people can do it their own way. There's all different styles and whatnot. But when you seem to watch Thai boxers, and it's not that they don't do it different ways. Of course, there's different styles and whatnot. But the elite Thai guys, the thing you pick up on straight away is the movement, right? The way they move. Just seems a bit, they're on a different sort of, rhythm might be the wrong word, but you get where I'm coming from. There's something.
They have their own tempo.
Do you know what I mean? They've got their own tempo. It seems like they slows down and they can make it. Like I've said this on here before, one of my favourite things to do is watch Sanchai shadowbox. Like if you watch him shadowbox his feet, move, slip, slide.
Fantastic.
I could watch it for hours, you know what I mean? I'm exaggerating a bit, but you get what I'm saying? I could watch it, like I sit there and I'll watch it, and it's like, I feel like the way, it's not because he is Thai boxing, obviously, but it's not so much that, it's just the way he moves. There's something about the fluidity.
He's in his groove, and the illusion that these ties are open, they're not. Everything is tight. Look, I watched the One Championships.
Right.
Look, Jonathan Hegarty now, this is top level. These guys are top level.
Yeah.
Right? You look at One Championships, and they wear them little gloves, and the blows going in. I'm like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The girls, mate.
There's no joke with them gloves.
Listen, this is serious business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, I've watched it come. I mean, look, I don't love the violence and part of it, and I think it can be a bit too brutal. Right?
Yeah, okay.
My preferred format would be PKA, the old school.
Really? Old school, yeah.
Like trousers, bring back no retreat, no surrender type vibe, right? Trousers, and shin pads and boots.
Okay. Shin pads as well. That's interesting.
I'm talking about safety of the fighters. That's
Gotcha.
my angle.
But do you think it changes when like it's at the top level? Because like when you're making money that you're living on and like you're going for the best in the world, I feel like the goalposts move a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Look, from my point of view, right, you got to preserve the fighters. If I'm an organisation, I've got signed fighters. I've got to look after them fighters, right? They're all trying to make a living for their families, yeah? So you fighting, look, Thai boxing's always been like boom, 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 right? And there's a place for that. I'm not saying there ain't. But PKA was made for TV, ESPN and all of that.
For excitement and stuff. Yeah.
You have to do 8 kicks per round.
That's right,
so it didn't look like a boxing.
So what people would do sometimes, from like my watching them back some of these things, what they'd do is they'd throw a load of kicks quick and then box, right? They'd get into that rhythm.
Well, you got the professional boxers coming to kickboxing and just boxing people up.
Yeah. And then that's what kicks. Right. So they had
you have
kicks.
to do 8 kicks per round, right?
Yeah.
So, but then you had I'll get to the transition, because you had people like Troy Dorsey, who was the first one, I think, to have a world.
What's his name? Troy Dorsey.
Troy Dorsey had a world boxing title and the world kickboxing title at the same time.
Damn, that's no joke.
That's what I'm saying.
How you do that?
You Google him, you'll see him great boxing fights against Jorge Paez back in the 80s.
Really? Okay, I've never heard of the guy, no.
But like I say, Nigel Benn come from kickboxing as well. I think there's a little clip of Nigel online.
Klitschko's as well, both Klitschko's, isn't it? Klitschko's were kickboxers, especially Vitali.
Our instructor Eddie, there's a picture up there with Klitschko in his kickboxing days as well, you know what I mean? But yeah, getting back to my story, so I did kickboxing, Muay Thai for about 3 years. And then by 16, I decided to take a break.
And is this in London?
This is in London. This is down in Woolwich.
Right. Okay.
So during that time, I met the Cobra Gym.
Yep. Okay.
Vince Johnson used to run the Cobra Gym back then. Shout out to Tim Isley down there. And Tim Isley's still down there, I think. Another great fighter, Tim Isley was. Good camp. You had D-Force. Got to mention D-Force down in South London, Brixton. Michelle O'Borrow, Lincoln Boney used to run the gym. You got Lucian and them guys that still run it. I think they're called Red Dragons and that now.
Okay.
I'm just saying, this history ain't been told.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? And D-Force, I think. D-Force used to be at Elephant Castle, a guy called Dennis Evans. Trained with him briefly as well. And then I used to pop into the Henry Cooper pub on the Old Kent Road.
Okay.
Because he used to have a boxing gym in there.
Yeah.
Go in there and just train a little bit.
Yeah.
Bruno used to come down and
Did he?
Gary Mason, they just...
What's this, Thomas Beckett, right? We're talking?
No, a little bit further.
Okay.
Thomas Beckett is a bit further.
Right,
Henry Cooper pub is a little bit further down the Old Kent Road. But them guys used to come round and you say, all right, mate, you know?
Yeah.
So as a youngster, you influenced by it to kind of, you know what I mean?
I would imagine, especially then, like where you mentioned no internet, like when you saw him in person, it's a bit more of a fight.
Yeah,
like, whoa.
because you saw them on TV fighting and you respected that they were fighters and champions.
Yeah.
And Bruno he won't remember, but they were all nice guys. They were nice guys, man.
Right. But so a lot of them are. Like, I had the pleasure of meeting Roy Jones recently.
Oh, right.
To me, Roy Jones is the greatest pound-for-pound boxer that's ever lived. Yeah, and I'm looking across at him, and he was like probably where that wall is. And I might have told this on here before. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you've met a few.
But I saw him, and you know when you for a second, I'm like, he's looking at me too, and I'm like, that's fucking Roy Jones. Like, where am I? Like, where's going on?
You know what I mean? It takes you a while sometimes.
And it's not that I was starstruck, but you know when you're just like a bit like, you're looking at him, he's looking at you. It's just a man, right? But you know who this guy is.
Someone you've been watching on TV.
That's what I'm saying. I've known him, like he don't know me, but I've known him since I was a kid, right? And I'm looking at him going, fuck, it's Roy Jones.
You know, there's, like I said, the starstruck thing, but I think I would be, you know, if I've never met Nigel Benn, Lennox Lewis and them guys, but I think I'd believe it. You do get a bit, your lips go dry.
Great guy, Nigel Benn, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know what I mean? I saw him come out of Covent Garden Station one time, and he was a middleweight at the time, and I thought, he don't look like middleweight, he looks so fit, he looks so strong.
Yeah, right.
And Lennox Lewis, I saw him in a club once, and it was just the size of his back was like that. You know, Lennox.
Out the way, biggin.
And I thought, imagine getting hit by someone like that.
Yeah. Sets you up.
The professional game, mate. Like, can you imagine you getting hit by Tyson in his prime? But even the lightweights would knock you out.
Of course they would, yeah.
Even the lightweights, bang. So can you imagine these heavyweight...
Well,
I respect the fight game.
I met someone years ago who'd sparred with Ricky Hatton back in the day, like.
Oh yeah.
And he said like first thing he was shocked how big Hatton was, before he started cutting weight, how strong. And he said he cracked him with a body shot through a body protector and still broke ribs. He said he was like a fucking
Ricky
nightmare.
I mean, there's so many names you can mention, right? Ricky Hatton is another one, and ripping body shots, mate. You know. But Ricky had an American, you know, he had different style. He didn't really have a traditional British style of fighting, I don't think.
Like Mexican sort of style,
He had that kind of, he loved body shots and that, but switching stances and just working the body over. I mean, you go back and look at Costa Sioux fight.
Yeah.
So, you know, respect to Ricky.
Yeah.
Like I say, you know, we all get older than that, but it's talking about the old fighters and the ones that brought so much joy to my household, entertainment, you know what I mean, over the years. Mm-hmm. You know, when I meet these champions, I'm like, you know what? I know you have to work hard to stay at that level. Massive respect. providing entertainment for the public. Prize fighting.
It's a hard life, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's a hard life.
So for me, I'm saying, you know what, respect, right? I appreciated it as a spectator.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Right? You know what I mean, though?
Well, I'll tell you one, here's an interesting question for you. My favourite fighter of all time, who I'll argue is the best heavyweight as well, was Mike Tyson in his prime. And you're of the age where you would have seen him sort of as it was happening at his prime. What was he like? Was he, I'm assuming, from my point of view watching him, I'm like, man, I wish I was alive for that.
Just an exciting period, man. First time I saw Tyson, he was fighting Marvis Fraser. It was 30 seconds, whatever it was.
Not even, less, I think.
Right, he came out, you just saw this, whatever it is, I think he was 19.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was only 19.
He was the age. It was like, rah, what do you mean he's only 19?
He looks 30.
He was close to our age, but he was like, rah, that's like us. I know man 19, like, out of road, right? So he was like, what? So you rooted for, what, he's 19? Yeah. You saw him come out with the peekaboo. Not the first time, because of Floyd Patterson. I love Floyd Patterson growing up. Another one of my favourite fighters.
Same camp, innit? The same camp, same gym.
Right? Even Jose Torres, but anyway. But the peekaboo, he brought it back. Yeah. Right?
And in a different way, because he was so powerful,
vicious, man. So he put Fraser out. Who's this guy? So you started watching this guy. And you quickly noticed that he was knocking these people over. He had a different style of fighting. He was fast.
That's what I think people miss, is his speed. It's not just his power. Not every heavyweight, but a lot of heavyweights hit hard, right?
You go back and look at Tyson's early fights and look at his footwork.
Yeah, head movement.
He bridged that gap so quick.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And then he's gone, he's not even there. Bang, you're feeling something inside of your ribs. Yeah. Bang, bang.
Thanks for coming.
So it was just an exciting period in boxing. Right the way up until the Trevor Berbick fight, where it was just, oh my God, he's going to do this. He's going to be the youngest heavyweight. And then when he did it, and he'd done it in such a fashion, and it was like, and the new, oh my God. So it was Tyson frenzy. You know,
even over here, was it huge in England as well?
Well, I'm not talking about the community, man. I'm talking about us lot around the way.
Yeah.
I'm talking about school.
Yeah. Where were you at this point? Still sort of Peckham?
I went to school at Elephant Castle.
Right. So still South London.
Yeah, Jeffrey Chaucer, you know what I mean? So, you know, we had a mixture of Brixton and Peckham and Walworth Road.
Because he's a hero in Brixton, isn't he? Like, people in Brixton love Mike Tyson.
That's what I'm saying. Tyson was a hero back then. He was just, you know what I mean? And then, of course, you started hearing, look, he was a boy from the streets, right? And he came up, he found boxing. So we all know his story, right? So we could relate. You could relate. If you're coming from the end, you could relate. Right. But it's like one of us is gonna do good. Like, you're gonna fight your way out. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but look, that's what it was, right? You identified with him because he was young and he was highly skilled. And he was knocking over adults.
Well, it was the age thing as well, right? Because like you said, he was the youngest heavyweight champion ever. But like
20 years old, man.
20 when like you're watching him as a kid, like 20 you go, well, it's young. But like when you get older than that and you look back, that's a kid, isn't it, man? 20 years old. It's a baby.
That just took over boxing.
Yeah.
You know, after the Berbick fight, it just went one up, you know, Pinklin Thomas.
Yeah.
Right after Larry Holmes and that.
Larry Holmes, yeah.
And of course, you know, he's documented it himself, all his woes outside the ring.
Yeah, well, the Michael Spinks fight as well was the big one, wasn't
it? You know what I mean? Michael Spinks was a good fighter.
Great fighter in his own right when he beat Larry Holmes twice.
They were shook when they came out, right?
He was terrified.
I would have been too.
With good reason, yeah.
You have to be prepared for Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you a quick story, right, as well. I trained a little bit at the Lynn Boxing Club in South London.
So did I, actually, back in the day. Yeah. I never fought for them, but I had a few, because I was working in Farringdon, but that's a side note.
Yeah, because Peckham and that,
right?
So, actually, that's why I know I met Michelle O'Burrow. Now, do you know, she's on the wall as well. Michelle O'Burrow, very quickly, good friend of mine, she got me into martial arts. Now, she was training with Lincoln Boney in Brixton. Okay. Right, and around the way, we're chilling and all that. I'm a young'un, right? She's a bit older than me. So her brother's like with us and whatnot, right? So Michelle's going, where's Michelle going? Yeah, she's doing this thing called kickboxing. What's that? Kickboxing? What, you kick and punch? What? So it sparked an interest straight away.
And you're what age here, like 12s or whatever?
Like, 11, 12, 13, right? Probably a little bit, 12, yeah. So she started telling me about, you kick and punch, but I didn't realise that this girl was a badass. So she's you know what I mean? British champion.
Yeah.
Right, Michelle, you're British champion. Oh,
yeah.
Shit, you're really good. European champion. Oh, shit, is it? Okay. And it's like, oh, I'm moving to Amsterdam. Really?
Fuck. Which is back then wild, isn't it?
She moved to Amsterdam and trained with the Voss gym.
Okay. Oh.
Right, so again, Amsterdam, Tom Harink, big up to Tom Herring, still out there in Amsterdam. Johan Voss.
Yeah.
Try and remember. And Jan Plas.
Okay.
The late Jan Plas, right, with the 3 great trainers in Amsterdam. So you had the 3 schools out there. They used to compete against each other and all of that, right? So Michelle left Peckham, ended up moving to Amsterdam and training at the Voss gym. So
and we're talking, what, 80s now?
This is 80s, what's that I'm saying?
As a woman as well.
It was illegal for girls to box.
Right, so yeah, of course it was, right.
You weren't allowed to.
You weren't allowed to. How mad is that now, saying that now?
Boxing coach lose licence, they shut you down.
But man, even in my time, like amateur boxing coaches wouldn't have liked it. Do you know what I mean? They'd let you in, but it was a bit like...
It's funny, because girls weren't welcome in boxing, but they were allowed to kick each other. Martial arts, girls were doing it all day.
Right, yeah.
So it was very common for girls to do martial arts.
Right, yeah.
So, but not box, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was seen slightly different. So Michelle now started training with Vanessa Hoost out there.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, of course, yeah. Mr. Perfect.
I'm trying to remember the names now. Ivan Hippolyte. A lot of great fighters that were out there at the time, when the gym was on fire. So she picked Lucia Riker. Do you know Lucia Riker?
Come on, man, come on.
Again, Lucia Riker and her
Savage.
Good friends. They fought each other and that. Lucy was another one that influenced me. I was influenced by these girls, man. So Michelle, Lucia Riker, shout out to them as well.
Lucia Riker, I would say, might be my pick as the greatest female fighter of all time.
No doubt. Michelle would argue that. And
Yeah,
you got to look at Michelle.
I see Michelle, yeah.
Michelle's gone down in history as well. She's with Rocky Marciano, retired undefeated WIBC champion.
Damn, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Female boxing champ as well. But you look at her knockout reel, mate. But she lives in China now as well.
Okay.
So I've seen martial arts take her from Peckham to China.
Yeah.
That's how we get out of the hood. I was like, okay.
Right.
So I didn't have fighters' dreams, but I realised the power of martial arts. I thought, okay, I want to be involved. I don't want to be a fighter, but I want to be involved. So I just used to train, enjoy training.
Yeah.
And then I moved to North London, met Eddie Dujon. Came in there, met Eddie Dujon. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I done a brief spat with Bill Judd. Trained with Bill Judd. Again, you can't tell the history without mentioning Bill Judd.
Okay.
Pioneer Muay Thai, especially in London, really, again. Fought Ronnie back in the days as well.
Okay.
But again, a good teacher, and you can't talk about history without mentioning Bill. He's still over there in East London, started the KO gym and whatnot.
Yeah, of course. Been in there for this as well, actually. Yeah.
So, trained a lot of champions, trained Vinny and Roxana Begum and all of that, right? So, got a shout out to Bill. So Bill was here at the same time. So I came up from South London, got the day wrong, and I walked in the day and I saw Eddie Dujon in there. When I walked in, I thought, what's going on here? So you had the ragga blaring, right? And it was just, the ring was full of all these guys that seemed to be going full contact, but I was wowed by the skill. Jab, sidekick, boom. It was like, what's this? It was like professional level boxing, but with the...
Right.
With the music blaring, it was a different... So all those champions up you see there, it said Mark Christian, Tyrone Hurley, Tyrone Herod, they were all champs, right? They were all, Colin Prince, of course, you know what I mean? They were all in there, all training together, and I was like, wow, this is a bit different. So I was exposed to American kickboxing for the first time.
Okay.
And I thought, you know what? I think I might want to try this. So I had a little chat with Eddie, and he turned around, big smile on his face. Again, it was just that warmth.
And how old are you at this point? What
I'm
are we talking now?
20, 21.
A young man now, different, right?
Yeah. So again, big smile from him. Everyone made me feel welcome. So I saw these killers in the ring, but they were so warm and welcoming. I thought, I like this dynamic. I thought, I'm going to come back. That was 1993, you know what I mean? And I'm still here.
Yeah.
So I can't say enough good things about Eddie, really. I mean, it's just, just the way he teaches alone, just his manner. He's a good friend, you know what I mean? Would do anything for you. He's an excellent mentor. So, you feel like you can approach him with any issues you've got in your private life, you can have a private conversation.
Really?
And he's going to give you that solid advice.
Really? You could go up to him and talk to him about
That's what I'm saying. He's just gone off to the Spurs game.
Yeah, we met, right? Yeah.
But, brethren for life, my instructor, got massive respect. And that's why I'm still here. Helping prop up the club, because we're old now, you know what I mean, right? We're a little bit older, right? But he's been here since 1991.
Wow.
I think, I'm going to keep I forget this wrong, I think we've had 38 champions during our period.
Can you name them all? Put you on the spot.
No, probably not.
38 champions.
But I'm talking about from southern area right the way up to
all
world champions. You know what I mean? Colin Prince won a world championship in the States. Mark Christian was world champion. Tyrone Head, I think, was British Thai boxing champion. Southern area, we've got southern area champions all the way down. Richard Francis, he still comes and trains with us as well.
Is he?
Graham Reeves, Tyrone Hurley, you know what I mean? These are all great guys, man, phenomenal fighters, you know, and I'm just blessed to have been around when they were still here. To just get a little bit, the back end of that, do you know what I mean, right? Because just TKBA seemed to take over the 90s. I'd go to Manchester and all that, and they said, okay, what's your background? I said, I train with Tottenham. Do you know Eddie Dujan? I'm like, yeah, that's yeah, tell Eddie I said hello, like, right?
Yeah, nice.
You know, so the 90s was an exciting period, you know, and kickboxing was at its high point.
Was it? Yeah.
Well, Van Damme came out with Kickboxer in
course, right,
89 or whatever, so everyone was into kickboxing. I think even Princess Diana was dabbling in a little kickboxing. Right? And then, because the UFC came out in 93, but then they got banned. Yeah. Because it was literally no rules. Right. You could punch man.
When it started, it was actually no rules.
Punch man in the seed, everything. You could bite.
Bite, kick, poke in the eyes, whatever.
That gap where it was gone until they cleaned it up, because obviously Dana White brought it back and whatnot. But kickboxing was popular. And then, of course, you had the rise of K1, which it hit its high point, I think, probably 2001. K1 started in 93 by Master Ishii in Japan.
Is that when it started? 93? Yeah, again, as well. Close enough anyway, it's close, yeah.
But from memory, I think it was 93, Master Ishii out there came from Saido Kaikan, which is like Kaiku Shinkai, spin-off. Had the idea to do this tournament. Okay, all martial arts, anyone's welcome, as long as it involves the letter K or something like that. We'll call it K1. So you had kickboxing, kung fu, and Kaiku Shinkai, karate, whatever. Right. So the first tournament was won by Branko Chikatik from the Shakuriki gym. That's Tom Herink again in Holland. Okay. I think he won the first one, and then the rest of the tournaments were dominated by the Dutch. So you had the rise of Pete Ertz, Mr. Randall's kick to the head. Pete Ertz, fantastic fighter. Right up to Semi Schilt, you know what I mean?
Sammy Schilt, for anyone who doesn't know, was he 7 foot tall?
7 foot tall, but technically...
And could fight, like could properly
This guy was
go.
in control of his limbs. He wasn't just big. This
he
guy,
wasn't,
he knew what he was doing.
Right.
Of course, you can't not mention Badr Hari, of course.
Still going, I think, Badr, and he's still sort of having fights, isn't he?
Is he? No.
Well, he had one recently in the last couple of years, anyway. Yeah,
Badr was just so exciting. Came up as a young...
Wild man, isn't he?
Yeah, but he came on the scene and was just, wow, who's this young cat?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, and then, of course, everyone knows Badr's thing again, you know. Shout out to Badr Hari, man, you know what I mean? You know, he'd been through a lot with kickboxing, you know what I'm saying? You know, he had trouble controlling his emotions outside the ring. Yeah, everyone knows that. But, you know, I believe he's got a good heart, good guy at heart.
But part of that, like, wildness, that's what makes you a great fighter at times, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, look, we all go through things. We're all just people at the end of the day, right? Not everyone's used to fame and fortune, everyone calling your name. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. We can only wish each other the best and help each other get through tough times. And what's the point in life, mate? You know what I mean? So, you know, when we do wrong, you get stunk out. But at the same time, you know, you don't want to kick a man when he's down. You know what I mean? If you can boost people up, then you boost people up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we're all one family. So, you know what I mean? But you get.
But it's still, I think, you can relate to it, can't you? You know, it's like you say, when you say it, sometimes you feel like you're sounding a bit hippie, but it's true. Man, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, I believe so. I believe it should be like you said. When you go into a gym, it should be that warm atmosphere when you come in, and it's like we're all in this together. You know what I mean? Because listen, we all know sometimes it's hard, isn't it?
I'm saying, look, you can still be tough with a smile on your face.
Yeah, yeah.
I learned that from all my instructors. So that's whether that's Andy Mayo, whether that's Bill Judd, whether that's all my instructors, everyone I interact with, they always made me feel welcome and comfortable enough to train.
Yeah, I think it would be an interesting question for you, seeing as the sort of world you've come from and age range you're in. I don't know have you ever heard of a fella called Eddie McLean, who was a Thai boxing guy? I think he was a world champion. If I'm wrong, he was a European champion.
Sounds real familiar. I can't recall.
Yeah, when I knew him when I was a young kid, he was, you know, bald head, quite well built white guy. He had a gym down in Eastbourne, which is where I met him. Right. But I didn't know if you'd heard of him, because when I was young, the first ever martial art I did where I ever went into a gym was Thai boxing down in Eastbourne. I lived down there for 3.5 years, And I would have been probably 10 or 11 when I walked in there the first time. And I can't remember his missus' name, but she was like, one of them was a world champion, one of them was European champion. If anyone can correct me that knows better, there was an Asterix gym in Eastbourne. And there was like married couple that owned it. I can't remember the lady's name. He was Eddie McLean. I think it was Eddie McLean again. Someone correct me if I'm a bit off on the names. You know,
Asterix gym.
Asterix gym in Eastbourne, and it was like, that was my first taste. But they was like, I remember we've all done it where it was downstairs as well. You'd go downstairs and the smell hits you and all that business. Yeah. But Thai boxing was the first thing I did with them, and they came to mind. I didn't know if you'd had any interaction with them, but
But I mean,
I never sort of heard anything more from them after, So it'd be interesting to see.
You know what, you're making me got to mention Kieran Kiddle.
Okay, yeah, Kettle's gym, right?
Yeah, Kettle's gym, of course. Badass is up there, man. You know
it's rebranded now, right? Is it called something else, I think?
Yeah, I think, they've gone through a rebrand. But I'm just saying that the history, you'd have to hit all these gyms.
Yeah.
Their story ain't been told.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So if we don't talk about these gyms and all that, how can the new generation get excited about the sport? I love this sport. I love sportsmanship and skill. So look, whether you're Steve Davis, whether you're Whitney Houston singing with a voice like that, or whatever, you appreciate human talent.
Yeah.
Look, these footballers, man. Pele, Maradona.
Maradona's my favourite.
Messi, I'm not even a football fan.
Right.
You watch Messi play, you can't say that's not, look, man, you take the ball from one end, run through everyone and score.
Yeah.
Or Wimbledon. How can you get from over there so quick? Look, the human body, man.
Yeah. I think as you get older, like, not that I'm trying to dinosaur myself off.
No.
I still, but like, I feel like you appreciate greatness more, right? You see it for what it is, so. You know what I mean? You start seeing people, like you said, I ain't got a lot of interest in, say, tennis, for example. I like watching a match, but like, if you see someone that's at the top level play, part of you goes like, shit, man.
It's skill.
Hey, yeah.
Look, I don't watch darts, mate, but listen, when I go on a dartboard, I can't hit the bullseye. So if somebody comes up and just goes bang, 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 I'm like, yeah, bro.
Yeah. I had a tennis racket in my hand yesterday for the first time in about 20 years, right? And you'll appreciate that Wimbledon stuff when you start hitting the ball going, oh.
Well, you can look at a full-size football pitch and you think, hold on a minute.
Yeah, he runs from where?
First full-size football goal. I thought, this is a joke. This ain't real. You're telling me that they just, no, man. How's that done?
You tell me, I don't know, I'm looking at you for answers.
A full-size football goal, right? Someone's blasting the ball and the goalie's going to dive. Nah, that's respect.
Yeah. Swimming, Olympics are swimming pool when you see that for the first time.
Like, what?
We can go on for days.
You watch Usain Bolt run?
Yeah.
No, mate.
Well, I tell you what's funny, you say that. I was in, was it last year or this year? Yeah. Doesn't matter, I was in Berlin training and whatnot, and I did a tour of the Olympic Stadium, right? Which is a big history, with Hitler and whatnot in the stadium. They go through the whole thing. But one of the things that perked my ears up the most was, and it was a couple of weeks, I tell you, it was a couple of weeks after the Euro final had been there, so that's when it was. But it's also where Usain broke the world record, and it still stands. And they show you the track, and they gave you like I think it was 2 beats. Someone's done it since me or before me, and they know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But when you're there, the tour guide, I forget his name, but he was great as well, big personality, done it in English as a German fella, so respect for that as well. But he shows you where he starts, he shows you the finish, and he like pointed with his hand between the 2 beeps of how fast he was running. And when you just go like, no way, he can't have run that fucking fast. Yeah, it don't look possible. Yeah.
Or Simone Biles, and you think, hold on, how high did she just, how many flips did she do? And then landed like, bang, stick your landing.
Too many. Too many flips, yeah.
So, from breakdance to taekwondo, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I appreciate skill and talent.
Yeah, I'm with
and that's
you,
what should be highlighted.
Yeah,
so not the violence of it. Yeah, it's violent. If I punch someone in the face, it's a violent act. But my intention behind it, it determines what it's about. If I'm defending myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't teach violence.
Yep.
But the sport of kickboxing, and we're talking about sport. So I can work with a young person. I can take that to a school and say, all right, we're teaching sport. Sportsmanship. Respect and decency and all those things that come with it.
And it would go a long way coming out of your mouth too, because the way you speak, but the way you are, do you know what I mean? Whereas someone could say exactly what you're saying, but turn up and go, right, listen, right, today, and people would go, look at this fucking idiot. Whereas when it comes out of you, you can see it's like, you're not just saying it, do you know what I mean? You feel it.
You don't have to agree with me, you know what I mean? But that's how I feel, and I'm going to relay that. You know what I mean? Everyone's at different stages. So babies can't digest solid food.
Right.
You have to puree the food first, you understand?
Yeah.
So not everyone's ready to eat the solids yet.
That's interesting.
So that's all right, though.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got a different time. I'm talking about even two adults. Everyone's at different times, mate.
Do you think that's why kids learn better? Because they get it given to them like that. Whereas an adult, if you come in as a beginner at, say, 25, they're going to be probably throwing full blast kicks at you. Not quite, but you know what I'm saying.
People have an idea of what they want.
Right,
to
exactly,
get out of it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you're on Instagram all day and all that, and you see all the bang, 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 that's what you expect when you walk into a gym. If you don't see that, you're disappointed.
But also as well, like if I come in here, like let's just say we're both 25, you've got your experience and I've never done it before, and they go spar with Ez, I'm going, well, I've got no fucking chance, right? You're just going to kick me. Whereas if you brought in two, say, 11-year-olds, they learn, don't they? They play for it. It's a bit, so their progression is different.
Exactly, definitely. I mean, age plays a part.
But I don't think it's as linear as people think. Like, you know, you're just too old. I think it's just the way you learn. Do you know what I mean?
It's down to the individual.
Right.
Like I said, it's the human mind. Right? Yeah, your body has limitations, but you can train your body. You can train your mind, you can train your body. So the concept is training. But what am I training for? You got to have clear, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try and apply that martial arts principle to anything you want to learn.
Yeah.
You could people, people get in their car, they drive. You're gone. When you're learning, mirror, signals, manoeuvre, this,
right,
There's so much to think about, oh my God. Then you got to watch the pedestrians and that. Then you got to watch for the HGVs and the buses and all of that. It's too much. So how is it now that you just get in and, right?
That's it.
So the concept is the same. You drill until it bypasses your thought.
Yeah. Like tying your shoes. Right?
Exactly. You don't think about it. You don't think about walking, then we put one foot in the other, whatever one. You get up and you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the concept is training it becomes part of you then.
Yeah.
So it's down to personal expression. I can move in any direction.
Yeah.
I'm in control of the space. I'm aware of space around me. I'm aware of how I interact with this person coming at me. Your eyesight speeds up because your self-awareness is now increased. So you're increasing your speed without increasing your limb speed. Okay, now you've got limb speed in addition to that. Now you've got movement and footwork. But it's really in your mind.
Yeah.
So the way you think is the way you are, your thoughts. That's all we really have, bro, isn't it? Really, right?
At the end of the day, that's all we got. Their own thoughts.
The way you think is going to shape our lives, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Who you want to be and all that. I'm not an expert on it. I'm just talking out loud because we're talking, right? I'm no psychologist. I've got my own problems and all that, right? But I'm saying that you try and work towards a solution.
Yeah.
Rather than focusing on the problem.
Right. It's so simple yet so complex, isn't it? So simple.
You stop moving. You're alive, so that means movement.
But it's also what you said a second ago about the space. I find that interesting too, because the more sort of experience I had when I started teaching and stuff and striking and whatnot, is like the concept of looking without having to look specific. You know, like people panic, they look here, whereas it's like I can look there. I know I can see you, right? I'm not looking at it, but I can see you. So my space is governed by my relaxedness, if you like. Whereas if I'm looking at you and I'm intent on it, I don't know what's there.
No, you're right. You've got to be relaxed to spar anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You can't spar like that.
Yeah.
And when you relax, it increases your awareness.
Yep.
That's all it is being aware.
But that's where you're playing with the middle ground, because you can't be too relaxed, right?
No.
Relax.
But it's a combination of being
of course,
relaxed,
yeah, and ready.
Assertive and ready.
Assertive is a great word, yeah.
Yeah, so
definitely.
you see all the great fighters, man.
Yep.
They relax to attack.
Yep. Well, going back to Mike Tyson, like if you look at him, if you don't know what you're looking at, that looks like a tense But if you watch him in reality, he's super relaxed. Oh, like unbelievably
especially when he was on his.
Yeah.
Right, he's in his
loose and fluid, fluid. When he throws rattles off them combinations.
And that's what I'm saying about the speed.
Yeah.
But Sugar Ray Leonard again. Look at these guys. This is what I'm saying. Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali. You could go on and on and on. Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah, another one doesn't get enough credit.
Listen, just Oscar De La Hoya in his prime.
Yeah.
Listen, man, look at Oscar De La Hoya's highlight.
Yeah. In his prime, people forget.
Babyface Assassin.
Yeah.
Eric Morales.
Yeah.
You could go on and on and on. There's so much examples of top
You can
quality.
just keep going, yeah, you can.
Who's your favourite fighter? That's why I just say Sugar Ray, because there's too many.
Is that right?
For me, Sugar Ray.
Which one?
With the Sugar Ray Robinson. Look, I went in a quiff because of Sugar Ray Robinson.
Is that right? Because obviously you're too
son
young
was
to have seen him fight, right?
I gave him a quiff, because I was a barber. I gave him a quiff. We called it the Sugar Ray. He was rocking that.
He's rocking the Sugar Ray.
That's how much I was in. Yeah, he's going to laugh at me.
He's going to laugh. He's got dad.
But when he was, because, you know, both my kids do it, right? You know what I mean? When he was younger, he used to have the Sugar Ray.
That's cool, isn't it? Yeah.
But Sugar Ray Robinson was always smiling.
He was,
So as a kid growing up, watching all black and whites, wow, this guy's happy.
Yeah.
He was always dancing, but when he got in the ring, the two-fisted attack, those hooks, you're throwing punches with venom.
Well, I'll tell you one as well, seeing as we're talking about historical fighters. Two, actually. One's Jack Johnson. But the reason that's got a bit of an asterisk with it is because, again, it's a little bit like the Muhammad Ali thing where he's more than what he was outside the ring. Because of how long ago it was, it's hard to see. Like, you can't really watch videos of him. You can see clips, right? Whereas it's tough. Yeah. And the other one is Harry Greb. I don't know if you know who Harry Greb is. Great middleweight champion who fought a heavyweight too. No, he was American. Pittsburgh. I think he was from, but he's the only man to beat Gene Tunney. You know Gene Tunney?
Right, yeah,
Gene Tunney, heavyweight champion of the world. Gene Tunney beat him multiple times, but he's the only man to ever beat Gene Tunney, and he was a middleweight, and he went up to heavyweight. And he was like, they compared, not comparing to Floyd, but you know when Floyd Mayweather says like he's 50-0 and that, I think he was like 51-0 in 1 year or something like that. You know, he was crazy, and like died young, and like, but just like but apparently, like from people talking at the time, he was like, you know, great. So like watching him and stuff. Another one, Rocky Marciano.
The old black and white, the old fighters. I mean, look. I mean, obviously the sport has evolved, right?
Right. You can only be great for your time, can't you? You know.
Of course. And that period, listen, them little ass gloves when them guys hit you, man. Can you imagine?
Different, yes, different.
It's like bare knuckle.
Yeah. But they also have to be more economical because breaking hands,
That's
right?
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Lewis. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I could go on. You can't not mention Joe Lewis.
Well, Rocky Marciano's one that I love to watch train and stuff. You know.
Dempsey.
Sonny Liston. We could go on, couldn't we? We could go on. Yeah.
But like I say, those fighters were tough.
Well, here's a question for you. This will be interesting to hear your answer because you're very clued up on things. Sonny Liston, when he fought Muhammad Ali, is there something going on there? Because I've watched it a million times, and a part of me finds it very hard to believe, especially the second one, there's not something funny going on there.
Phantom punch.
There's not something, you know.
Look, let me say this. You only have your own opinions, right?
Yeah.
But,
and that's all they are as well, is an opinion, isn't it?
Any big time sport, anywhere there's money, there's going to be mafia.
Yeah. Especially then.
Yeah, especially then, right? No matter, anywhere there's money, people want money, gangs want money and all that. That's where they're going to gravitate to. So whether it's getting involved in a movie star, sports star, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's always been part of the game, unfortunately, right?
Right.
Boxing went for that period heavily controlled by mafia.
But the reason I asked that one specific is as well, and if anyone's got a different opinion, please correct me on what you think. But like feel like a lot of people say like Muhammad Ali boxed his ears off and whatever in the first one, right? It was like whatever. But if you've ever watched that fight, to me, dead even, and then for no apparent reason, Sonny Liston don't get off his stool.
Yeah.
I go, I don't know. Now it could be, you know.
Sonny was a troubled
man,
right? He was a troubled man.
And some people say he was like, by the time this fight, they'd like his birth certificate was never found, all that shit. They say he might have been 50.
There was so much going on.
Right.
The second punch, the phantom punch. The punch. It was a quick punch over the top.
Yeah.
Did Sonny want to get up? I don't know.
But it's also the referee was Jersey Joe Walcott, another great heavyweight champion. The stoppage, you've seen the stoppage, right? Sonny Liston gets up, he looks at the corner, he kind of looks like he's asking something and then waves it off, which is also squirrely, you know?
Like I said, the mafia used to be involved
in things.
And I'm not saying that they were involved in that fight or fixed the fight, but it was a known thing that was done.
Of course, yeah.
Right? And at the end of the day, people just want to eat.
And he had a suspicious death not long after, didn't he, Sonny Liston?
There was a lot going on in those days. You know, and who knows? Who knows, man? But yeah, Liston was a troubled guy, unfortunately.
Yeah, great fighter as well, wasn't he? I think he was a great fighter.
You get people that are born with raw strength.
Yeah.
Like George Foreman, God rest his soul, was just, you know, you get hit like that.
Well, you know, also Sonny Liston to this day has still got the longest reach in heavyweight history, despite only being 6'1". He had freaky dimensions, and his fist was like.
Hit with that.
Well, he had massive fists. He had like freakishly long reach for his height, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of things that were sort of naturally, you know, developed for power. Natural attributes. That's the word. You know, exactly.
And, I guess this is why the world went crazy when Ali beat Foreman.
Yeah, right.
Because it was the approach and the tactics. You know, this is the drama in the sport where everyone was worried for this guy. Listen, he's going to kill him.
Yeah.
he's going to kill him.
Well, I'll tell you what's funny as well. If you look at things at the time, people are saying how old Muhammad Ali is. He's 32. Whereas now 32 ain't even old. But they were talking about him now. Like, you know, if me and you were sitting now talking about 45-year-old going,
of course,
too old to fight.
But I guess it's in sporting terms.
Yeah, right.
Professional sport.
But 32, like still, like come on. Usyk's 38.
At 30, you talk about retirement.
Right.
Back in the days.
Whereas now it's laughable, isn't it? Because 30, you're not even hitting your prime.
But you see, the conditioning is a lot better.
Well, like recovery and stuff, isn't it? Diet, know-how, right.
Exactly, right? But yeah, you would retire at 30.
Yeah.
Remember, you want to retire with your faculties.
Right.
Intact.
Well, it's like your favourite, Sugar Ray Robinson, had a horrific end to life, didn't he? You know, dementia, didn't know where he was, died in poverty after all that.
You know, I mean, not to talk about the negatives of the sport and whatnot, because it's just life stories at the end of the day. But you could go from Joe Lewis. I mean, look what happened to Joe, right? So, but look, that's another platform. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But you know, you have to understand what you're getting into.
Yep.
Understand the professional game. Understand you got to protect yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's your life at the end of the day. You know, life after fighting.
Right.
You've got to think about that.
Yeah. Well,
if you're a professional, you know what I mean? Because
of course.
at the end of the day, your income is coming from you fighting.
Yeah.
So you've got to take that into account.
And the horror story, like you said, not to take it down a negative road, but you're aware of who Wilfred Benitez is.
Of course, yeah.
The youngest ever world champion in boxing. Was like basically he was basically the fifth one of the four, wasn't he? Right? He fought all of them guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you see him now, like he's in a terrible condition.
Look, mate, you know it's difficult really because all combat sports, everyone should be insured.
Right.
So there's something after. But I can understand for insurance. Look, even Jackie Chan was famous for having trouble getting insurance because obviously your job is dangerous.
Right, right.
You're jumping from building to building and expect not to break a leg. Yeah. So if you're an insurance company, I ain't
No,
insuring you, Jackie.
Not for me.
Man.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So it's one of them ones.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, right.
So boxing. Okay, no, don't worry, I'm not going to get hurt. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, but you need something.
Of course you do, because when you're 20, you don't feel like you're ever going to be 50, right? 50 seems like a million years.
You don't know what life is going to bring.
Right, right.
So again, for me, if it's a professional sport, you've got to think about the preservation of the fight. It's a dangerous game at the end of the day. So you've got to look after the fighters in any combat sport so they can keep fighting for your promotion. Well,
I'll tell you one thing you touched on earlier about like safety and with protection and whatnot. Yeah. Like, here's one thing I think you don't see so many Thai fighters with brain damage and whatever. And I know there's a lot of factors, but also world title fights are 5 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
World title fights in boxing are 12, and in back in the day it used to be 15, and before that unlimited, right? That plays a part to me too. Now I know it's never going to happen, but for me, I think it'd be exciting to have world boxing fights for 5 rounds. They'd go at it fast, and it'd be over. You'd see like the top fighters fight probably 6 times a year because they're not taking the damage. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, and also on the card, because each card, you know, it's a bit different. You could have different fights on the card, so you could have maybe 5 world title fights. I'd like to see that. Not that I ever expect it to happen.
I think they've toyed with, we have 10 rounders occasionally, not title fights, but 10 rounders. Yep. And as you say, it got reduced from 15.
Right, but why not have world title fights like at the top level? Like you've got, let's say, Tyson Fury, Usyk. I know it's happened, but go back a couple of years before it's happened. Yeah. Have them fight for 5 rounds. Go, boom.
See, you're doing glory. You're doing glory.
That's what I'm getting at. Like kickboxing does it.
And it encourages the fighters to give their all because you've only got 5 rounds.
Right.
And you stay sharp during that 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Some argue that the longer your duration, you've got more time to stretch it out. Not all fighters start fast.
And people would also argue more skill comes in and stuff like that. I get both sides. I get both sides.
If I'm a slow starter, I might want the first 3 rounds to assess my opponent.
Right. But if me and you fight for 5 rounds, me and you can keep a good pace for 5 rounds, right? Yeah. Whereas like for 12 rounds, there's got to be an element of I'm going to nick around here. This round I'm going to,
It depends on your fitness levels, right? But you're right. When you every time I'm seeing a fighter, unfortunately have an accident in the ring, a serious accident, you can kind of see where they're overheating. There's too much going on. There's punches coming in, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? They're getting hot. They've exerted too much energy. And
if you're getting hit flush by a world-class fighter and you're not prepped, you're in a bad place here.
Listen, it only takes a jab.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, of course it does.
If I'm coming at you, bang, 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 you're covering up. For 10 rounds. Right. And in the last 2 rounds, I'm exhausted. 1 jab, mate.
And also this, you're hitting me here. I'm still taking them. They're still counting.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
You still get...
Of course you are. My head's still rocking around.
Sparring safely now.
Yeah.
Especially with youngsters. instead of encouraging all the full power and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
In fight, look, you go to Thailand, they don't kill each other in sparring like there, because you know that, okay, this is serious business.
Yeah.
I can't throw a real elbow towards, you know what I mean? And you're fighting next week. It doesn't make sense. Got to come back to looking after the fighters, I believe.
Well, that's sorry, interesting. That's why when I first mentioned Eddie McLean and the Ashton Gym, that's what was in my brain, because we were talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I don't ever. We used to do boxing sparring from memory, and if anyone was around at the time and this finds you, correct me if I'm off on this. But we used to boxing spar properly. But we never did any kind of sparring, kicking to the head or anything like that, from my memory. Do you know what I mean? It was all very controlled.
You know, I come from a traditional background as well, so I did taekwondo, right? So when you come from a traditional background, you're taught to pull your stuff and control your techniques.
Oh, you are? Okay.
We taught taekwondo, for instance, with the roundhouse, you chamber.
Right.
Right? So you chamber from the knee and you throw the kick out in a controlled manner.
So when you're saying that, is that like touch but not hurt?
Yeah, I mean, you can make contact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is the knee comes up
Yeah,
first. It's
right, gotcha.
As opposed to Muay Thai, it's thrown from the hip.
Yeah, whack it home.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, from the hip. So it's two different applications. The TKBA, we use both, because again, it's personal expression. There might be a time to use a Taekwondo style kick and then follow through with a Muay Thai kick. You know, there's a time for double kicks. There's a time to, but this is what I'm saying about PKA, was designed to be exciting on TV.
Right.
So if you take the low kicks out, you find that people through double kicks and hook kicks and jumping, spinning kicks.
Because they ain't got to worry about the leg getting chopped up.
Because you ain't got to worry about that leg getting taken out.
Yeah.
So again, it was, but I love Thai boxing, so I love WKA as well, because that was the same thing, but with low kicks.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I like the different formats. And then you have Muay Thai. So over here, elbows were banned back in the days.
Were
Funny,
they?
yeah, they were. It was a new sport. They were like,
no, can't elbow someone's head.
How vicious you want it to be?
Yeah, you can't elbow someone's head.
Right? Like, don't need to, like, so it was modified Thai rules back in the day, right? But it worked for TV. You know, it worked because you had to allow the Europeans to get into it.
Well, that's like the K1 thing, right? And the clinch is gone and all that business. So,
Yeah,
so
they've had to
like,
because
it makes it faster paced.
Yeah,
cuts.
it looks like Thai
And also, let's be honest, elbows, cuts is a big thing as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Look, like I said, I love Thai boxing and all that, right? Do I need to see that? Does the fighter need that?
Well, from what I've heard on podcast, and obviously I'm hearing this secondhand, right? It's not, but they said like some of these promoters were saying on podcasts that the reason they took elbows out initially for things was because, like, for example, I'm the English fighter, they fly you over as the Japanese guy, they're paying you a lot of money. First round, one of us gets cut with an elbow. They go, fucking hell, wasted me money. You know?
Look, I saw somebody take an elbow on Instagram, one of them tomahawk elbows.
Yep.
I thought, oh my God. No, but, all right, fair enough. The elbow works, but look, man, that's a. I thought, easy. You know what I mean?
Easy, yeah.
Look, there was one girl, I don't know her name, there was a female fighter, she did the bare knuckle nonsense, right? And then she was being interviewed after the fight. She's like, yeah, that was a really good fight.
I've seen it, the blonde girl with the face hanging out,
I'm like, hold on a minute, I start to question my humanity now.
Yeah.
Did I, to pay to go and see, what am I watching here? A woman get mangled. And then the psychosis of her saying, yeah, it was a good fight and it was all right, I really enjoyed it and all that. I thought, no, but right, each their own, Ollie. I'm not saying it from a judgmental point of view.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But from my point of view, I'm like, if I'm going to get excited by that, then something's wrong with me.
Right, okay. Yeah, I hear
you get what I mean.
Yeah,
right?
cool,
if I'm getting excited by that, I'm starting to question myself.
Right.
If I'm getting excited by seeing people getting really hurt and look, there was one of the one championship guys, what's his name now? Full-blown roundhouse kick, shin to the face. And I felt so sorry for the guy. I can't remember the name of the fighter. I think it was Super Bong. Okay. Obviously, it's the game, right? But the shin, bang, he was out, and I thought that guy's got family. I thought, you know what I mean, though? Yeah, of course, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. Do you know the sport of left way? Yeah. Headbutts, like it's basically bare knuckle Muay Thai with headbutts, right? Yeah. But if it's your culture, it's a little bit different. Yeah, okay. Yeah. If you're talking about televising the sport, you've got to highlight that. Yeah, okay. So for me, I find it fascinating that the bare knuckle scene has taken off. Yeah. Well, it's interesting what you say about one. Have you been to a one event by any chance? No. So I've been to one. I was in the States where actually it was lucky, just timing. I was at Jonathan Haggerty, he was the main event, and the co-main was Liam Harrison, right? So I was into it from that. You got Liam Harrison. You know what I mean? You've got to mention Liam Harrison, those British boys, man. Yeah, of course, right. Flag for Britain. Of course, both of them great, right? But they,
I was lucky enough to do a seminar with Haggerty
Right.
as well, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
Great guy, a person as a man as well.
Yeah,
Lovely,
yeah.
very very good character. So if this finds you, mate, I hope you're well. But when you're at these events, because there's not mixed rules, sorry, but like. Different arts on, right? So you'll have a boxing match or whatever.
Sure.
They were supposed to have a Jiu Jitsu match. It got pulled off. Mikey Musumeci was injured, so it came off. But there was Muay Thai fights, MMA fights. And it's exciting, man, when you're there because it's like boom, 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 here, there, and everywhere. And also, again, like with the rounds, like they're free rounds, a lot of them. So it's quick pace.
You don't get bored.
And what they do really well, one championship as well, is it's one fight to the next. You know, like we've all been to pro boxing fights, right? You know, great fight, but then it's like fucking, when's the next one? We've been here for 15 minutes. Like, there's none of that shit. Everything was like boom, 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 boom. I was in and out of the arena. I didn't watch every fight, but I probably saw the last 6 fights.
Where was this? Where did you go?
This was in Denver, in America.
Oh, nice, man.
So,
Nice. That must have been nice,
I was there, and it was like I was in and out of the arena in about an hour and a half. You know what I mean? And
Tight.
Yeah, in. But it was like in, watch, out. I don't need to be here 6 hours getting bored. Do you know what I mean? I'm done.
He's done really well with I know they've gone through their financial issues and whatnot, but look, he managed to mobilise the fighters of the Far East and that as a collective so they can be seen. And it's phenomenal, the standard, really, you know what I mean? So I big up the One Championships, you know what I mean? Even Glory, look, Glory did, you know, they're still out there, they're doing their thing. You know, started off as Golden Glory and that. You know, but really, kickboxing was dying a death.
Right.
So Glory stepped in and kind of helped keep it in the spotlight.
Well, it's very different as well, right? With the little gloves and in a cage, because, like, you know, being in a ring like this, you can corner someone, right? Like, whereas a cage is a bit different.
I mean, I'm not a lover of the cage.
You're not a lover of the cage. That's what,
I'm not a lover of the cage. Like I say, there's a place for it because people want to do it. But something about humans fighting in a cage for me just...
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, you can argue that it's safer and this, that, the other, but you know what? I don't like the image of it, but you know what? You know, I just wish.
Depends what you're doing in a cage. I think MMA should be in a cage because like people falling out. Do you know what I mean?
You can't. That's what I'm saying from the safety point of view. I understand it. You know? But it's just my personal thing.
But
like
there's arguments to have it on a big mat as well, isn't there? A lot of it, like Joe Rogan talks about that. I like the cage for MMA, but I can see Joe Rogan's argument in terms of having a big matted area. My issue with it is, if you're beating me, I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like kickboxing on the mats or in the ring.
It's too far. It's too much.
The application is different. If I'm fighting on the mats, right, they can take 4 steps back. That means I've got to stretch my kicks and my strikes a little bit longer or get closer.
Or just follow them the whole time. Nothing really happens. We're not really fighting.
Whereas in the ring, this is why some people have a problem with transitioning from taekwondo on the mats to kickboxing in the ring. Because, hold on a minute, I ain't got no space.
Right.
I take 2 steps back, I'm against the ropes. So if I don't know how to cover up and box, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You got. It's so much to learn. There's so much to learn.
With time, is it? We're getting the signal.
How long I've got getting the signal?
We'll wrap this up. We get this good. We'll do this again because this has been great. But mate, in closing, one thing I wanted to ask you. They always ask one question at the end, but before that, one question I wanted to ask you specifically because you've done so much wealth of knowledge, met different people, etc. You've said Sugar Ray Robinson was your favourite boxer of all time, but who's your favourite fighter? Is it still Sugar Ray?
It's such a tough one, Ollie, because I've been watching combat sports for a long, long time. So for boxing, I would have to say Sugar Ray Robinson, even though it's just a multitude of fighters. Kickboxing, again, there's too many. But I always say Ronnie Green because Ronnie was the one that really had the massive influence over me, style-wise, just his achievements in the ring and his personality. So, you know, I've been watching him and reading about him for so many years, right? Since 12-13, I had a chance to meet him at one of these Senny events. I can't remember what year it was now. No, it was at a kickboxing, because his son Lee was fighting. He's also our champion as well, Lee Green. So yeah, I went to see Lee fight. Me and Clay went up to Manchester and that, and I was like, right. Every show I've been to, I've missed Ronnie. They were like, hey, Ronnie was just there, he's gone. Oh, what? So I never had a chance to meet this guy. So we went up and I said, right, he's got to be at his son's fight, surely, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he'll be for this one.
Yeah. So we've gone all the way up there now, and I'm looking out for him and I'm thinking, oh God, there he is, yeah. So I've seen him now. I'm thinking, all these years. And I've never actually had a chance to meet him. There he is. So I'm like that. So I'm thinking, all right, how am I going to approach this guy? He's going to think I'm a little bit strange. Like, yeah, I'm up from London, but so I thought, right. So I kept... So I was hesitating, you know what I mean? I'm hesitant there, man, you know what I mean? So Claire steps up, she goes, look, let me just go over there. So before I know it, she's gone over there. She goes, "Are you Ronnie Green?" Like, so like, yeah. So anyway, she done the introductions. Like, he turned around and just had this big smile on his face. So I thought, all right, I know he's not off key. You know what it's like? You have this image of someone, right? And then you get a chance to meet him.
Yeah.
And they shatter that image.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
He's a bastard.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in my mind that this guy's a nice guy, blah, 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 he's skillful, respectful and all that. And then you meet him and he's like, rah.
Yeah.
So it's one of them moments. But nah, he wasn't, of course. He was nice.
He's great, yeah.
But you know, it's like, I've been watching Jackie Chan since I was 8. I think I'd be starstruck and speechless if I actually met Jackie Chan, right? Right? What would I say to him and all that?
Yeah.
Right,
Well, that's the thing I think people
Right?
struggle with. They go, that's my hero. They get up to me and they go, what am I going to say? They just like
So,
get
you know
this.
what I mean? I'm 8, so I'm talking about Snake and Eagle, Shadow, I'm talking about Drunken Master, I'm talking about Right the Way Up. But if he wasn't a nice guy when I met him, it would crush my childhood.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why they say don't meet your heroes, isn't it? That's why they say it.
I mean, you never hold anyone up on a pedestal anyway, right? But you admire them growing up.
Yeah, right.
Don't worship nobody, but you admire people.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
admire
right.
their talent and the things they do. So it'd be like, rah, Jackie, you know what I mean? So if you were like, okay, you'd be like, rah, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jackie's a dick.
Yeah, you know? Sorry, Jackie.
Yeah, shout out Jackie.
Shout out Jackie Chan. I know you're not, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So look, you know, but yeah, mate, it's just nice to be able to talk on this platform. Right. Thanks for listening if you watch this podcast. But you know, yeah, man, respect.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Before we finish, most important question of the day.
Right.
Now, where we are in the shadow of the stadium, I'd feared for the worst. But where you said you're born in South London, this might go all right.
Right.
Which football team you support?
Do you know what? I refuse to answer.
Chelsea. Very good. Well done. Mate, as I say, I appreciate you.
Respect,
We'll get a training session at some point.
Yeah,
we'll do another one.
You're more than welcome.
I always finish with a fist up like this, mate. Squeeze the neck. Boom.
Peace.